Hey guys, it's Ann Yorks from the Flower Box, and I am decorating a really beautiful Christmas tree cookie for you today. I'm going to show you how to make this cookie step by step, and I even will show you 2 different ways to decorate this beautiful cookie design. Plus, at the end, I have a packaging tip for you, so let's cookie it up. I'm outlining with my red icing, and I have a tip number 2 on the icing bag. That just makes for nice tall outlines. I'm going to add each section of the tree using leaf green icing. And again, I have tip number 2 on the icing bag. Now there's no right or wrong way to add these little scallops to the tree. And I personally think the more scallop and the more whimsical look to it, the cuter the cookie is going to turn out. Now it's time to flood in alternating icing sections, and I'm going to start with the top section and the bottom section first and let those icing areas dry before I come back in to do the center section. I like a nice, full, generous flood. This just makes those cookies look full and flat when the icing dries. Now I'm going to flood in the red bow. I'm just flooding in the left and right side. I'll do the center in just a few minutes. Don't forget to add the trunk. I'm using a pastel buckeye brown, and I'm just using 1 icing consistency for that teeny tiny area. There's no need to mix up both a pipe and a flood when you have such a small section. This is looking really good. I just want to get that last little section on the bow filled in. Now let's add some snow trim on each section of this cookie. I'm using different hand pressures as I go in and out of those scallops. When I'm going down at the base, I'm squeezing a little harder. And as I come back, I ease off the hand pressure. I feel like that adds just a really pretty thick and thin area to those piped lines. Now, while that white icing is still wet, I'm going to pop my cookie on a sprinkle tray. I have white sparkling sprinkles in the jar, and I'm just going to cover that cookie completely. I want to make sure that that white sugar gets on all of the wet icing and sticks nice and firm. You can give the cookie a good shake. I just love the sparkle on the cookie. Filling that jar back up, I just remove the cap at the bottom of the sprinkle tray, and then that sugar can just flow right back into the jar. It's kind of nice, keeps it mess-free. Now it's time to add some teeny tiny bows. I sized down to a tip number 1. And I'm going to just make an infinity sign for the loops on the bows, and then I just add an upside down V. Here's a closer look. Those are so cute. It can be tempting to add too many bows. I know I did that the first time I made this cookie, so I do like to make sure that I'm spacing out the bows and not adding too much. Let's take a look at a really fun version that I did with the new Starry Night airbrushed background. Just makes for a really pretty background on that tree. Okay, here is one more version. This one is a totally pink girly bow version. I love this cookie. This is my favorite design out of the 2. And I start with a white bow at the top, and then I'm using 3 different colors of the Chef Master Rose Pink, starting with the lightest shade at the top and working my way down to the darker shade on the lowest tier. Then I'm going to flood in alternating areas just like I did the first time, allowing those icing areas to dry before I come back in and flood the neighbors. On this particular cookie, I'm using the Under the Christmas Tree sprinkle mix, but this Candy Cane Lane sprinkle has some pink and red and white in it. And you might already have that Wilton gingerbread mix. That's been around since last year. You can use really any sprinkles, but I was really drawn to these gold stars. I think they are so cute. And I'm just adding them using the tweezers, 2 on the top tier, 3 on the bottom, and I'm adding them while the icing is still wet so that they will stick to the cookie. Now let's flood in the bow, and I'm going to make this bow a little fancy, adding some stripes to it. So I flood each section white. Then I have a tip number 1 on my dark pink piping bag, and I'm just adding those little lines as I go across each section of the bow. Don't forget to flood in that center section. And again, that is the middle tone of that rose pink icing. You'll want to add the stars now while the icing is still wet. So I'm just pulling some of those stars out of that sprinkle mix and popping them onto the wet icing. The trunk at the bottom is a quick add with that single consistency icing. Don't forget to flood in the center, and I did add 3 stripes on that middle section. Now let's add the sparkle. Again, I'm using my white piping icing, and I'm just adding those scallops. I'm being intentional with how I'm squeezing the bag, a little bit stronger at the base so that it looks a little bit wider, and then have those thin areas. Now I'm ready to add the sparkle. Let's pour that white sugar onto the cookie and give it a gentle shake to remove the excess. And now we have just this beautiful pink ombre sparkly cookie with stars. You can add more details to this cookie if you wanted to. I thought it was perfect the way it was, but I did use some of those little Christmas tree balls in the different colors that are in that mix, and I added them to the background, and it did look really cute. So I'll let you decide which design you like the best. Now, these cookies are beautiful and dressed up with all the details, but you could package them in a clear cookie box with a backer. This is the 5x5 clear box. You can find it in the shop. I did add a cute little tag to it, and the size of the cookie just fits perfectly in this size box. You can find this cutter and the sprinkles and all the packaging supplies in the shop at flowerbox.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this one more look at another Christmas cookie design. This one was super girly, probably my favorite this season. And I can't wait to bring you more cookie decorating videos. So be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, happy decorating.